In some plants, being a rebel seems to be the cool thing among workers. There seems to be a big game of cat and mouse between workers not following the rules and their supervisors, whose job it is to figure out who's sneaking candies in or who's smoking in the maintenance shop. This isn't always the case, but it happens often enough to be worth talking about. For some reason, some people think the rules don't apply to them. In those same plants, supervisors feel like they're babysitters working in a daycare. They repeat the same explanations over and over again. Ellen, I found 2 unlabeled containers at your station. If we don't know what's in there, there's no way we can know what to do with them. Bob, can you please put your hairnet on properly? There's hair sticking out of it. Nobody wants to be eating your hair. You get the idea. Supervisors think, why don't they just understand? Why do I always have to keep checking up on everybody? The worst part of it all is that it's never complicated stuff. What supervisors want is a workforce that understands the importance of following the rules and is mature enough to police itself. GMPs should be non-issue. They should be so natural, we don't have to talk about them. Most people want to do the right thing and to be valued in their workplace. They would be happy to contribute to a better work environment. People like when their input is taken seriously, especially when something happens and they're able to point out opportunities. Finally, they like to be recognized when they do good deeds. They like to be taken care of. It's easy to see how aspirations of the 2 groups can meet. What we need is a bridge to take us from where we are to where we want to be. There isn't a magic answer, but here's a useful idea that can serve as a starting point. The idea is cybernetics. Even though it sounds like something out of the Terminator movie, it has nothing to do with robots taking over the world. Cybernetics is the study of self-regulating systems. It's the study of how stable states are maintained. A classic example is maintaining a constant temperature in a house with a furnace and a thermostat. The furnace and the thermostat make up a system, and that system is used to keep air temperature constant. Once we understand how the parts work with each other, we can approach behavior. First, we set a reasonable goal, a temperature. Then, we establish a sensing device, the thermostat. It monitors if that goal is being achieved. When it senses the system is getting away from the desired goal, the thermostat sends a message to a regulatory device, the furnace, which then takes a corrective action that reestablishes the balance in order to meet our goal. There are a few things to notice here. The corrective action requires a direct impact on the desired condition. In the case of a heat-regulating system, tying the thermostat to a water pump wouldn't be effective. We need to use a furnace. Also, the corrective action has to be proportional to the needs of the system. You don't want too much or too little. If we look at GMPs, the underlying goal is to prevent product contamination. But we can't monitor directly for contamination the way we can monitor temperature. There is no such thing as a contamination meter. So we need something we can observe continuously. That's why the GMPs were developed. If we follow the rules consistently, we reduce the risk of contamination. It's not as straightforward as temperature, but it works out in the end. For our system analysis, the goal will be compliance to the rules. The monitoring is done by supervisors. Supervisors monitor. And the corrective action is a slap on the fingers, a friendly reminder, or a visit to the office. Monitoring is not on an ongoing basis. That's a weakness. Supervisors can't be in the plant checking up on everybody all the time. So we get swings of compliance, the cat and mouse phenomenon. In order to do better, we need to do something differently. We need to rethink the system. If we keep doing the same things, we will always get the same results. One option would be to keep supervisors on the floor all the time, but nobody wants that. Alternatively, we could hire a real tyrant, someone who would crack down the whip. Or we can foster a culture of self-regulation without relying continually on supervisors and managers. What would that be like? Well, everybody keeps an eye on everybody else, in a friendly manner. If you see something, you assume the other wants to do well and didn't notice. There's no need of big speeches or making anybody feel bad. If someone doesn't want to play the game, leave them alone. Eventually, they'll run into trouble, and they'll get what's coming to them. So here's the bottom line. If everyone works together, small problems never get a chance to become big ones. And that will make everybody happy.